Every year when I open the technology forum, I feel compelled to update my forecast that on the size of the SDN and NFV market, and also remind people that there are three separate markets that we track. We track the SDN in the data center, which includes SD-WAN for us. We track SDN in the carrier network, and we track NFV. And you can see the numbers. I won't read them out. And they're also available in the PDF that you can download. But then I also want to remind people that not all that revenue is new money. Some portion of that very large number is going to would have been spent anyway without SDN or NFV. Some portion is money that's displaced from more expensive hardware to software. And some portion of the money is actually new money coming into the market. And so for here, what Michael and I have done is we've laid out our perspective on what portion of the revenues we quote or we forecast for 2022 belong to which category. What did I want to share? Oh yes, so here's my promise from last year that we would look at as we track server shipments. And what I promised is I'd come back and tell you our forecast for the attach rate for different types of silicon that will be used for AI inference and machine learning. And what we're showing here is that by 2022, if you total that all up, it's a little more than 10%. And we're forecasting that about 10% of all servers shipped by 2022 will have some sort of coprocessor for parallel compute, probably doing AI and ML. And we have it broken down by the type of silicon, from GPGPU to FPGA to TPU and some other very specialized pieces of silicon that we expect are on the way. I also wanted to come back to a slide that Michael showed this morning. This is a slide from our survey of 14 thought leaders on edge computing, where we asked them what were the areas of investment that we need to invest in order to realize edge computing. And here they are. And for me, the most important takeaway was we need to move from a scenario where we compute in a data center and everything's homogeneous to a scenario where we're going to compute in hundreds and thousands of locations. It's a very complex distributed computing problem, and the problem of orchestration is going to be much, much more important in this scenario. The other thing that they mentioned that I'm not sure everyone recognizes or thinks about is the problem of data synchronization. There will be data in very, very many locations, and somehow we need a consistent set of data across all the locations we're going to be computing in. So some very real problems for the people in this room to solve, actually, as this is the technology forum where we decide what we're going to build to deliver on the promise. So I thought I'd share that with you. And the other thing I also wanted to share with you before I turn it over to the speakers today was, if you haven't talked about or thought about the multi-cloud, something we've been saying for more than a year, maybe 2 years, is that SD-WAN, which really started as a simple solve a transport problem for the enterprise, connecting their branch offices with a better architecture, now this will evolve to be a virtualized compute fabric for the multi-cloud, and several of the vendors in the space like VMware and Nuage Networks have already realized this and have started to add functionality in this direction. So SD-WAN takes on a whole new set of importance. It's not just about connecting the branch offices going forward. And by the way, we track the vendors in the SD-WAN space and we publish our market share. So if you're curious to know who's doing how well, you can have a chat with us. So 3 takeaways for everyone. 1, 3 markets for SDN and NFV. 2, that GPGPUs become mainstream in servers by 2022, supporting AI inference and machine learning. And SD-WAN goes well beyond branch connectivity in the next few years.